And again, please, there is one more thing. It's like the Tay Sun base, who controls the other bases. They all seized power by force. Destroy the original leadership to come to power. These bases, they're basically controlling a strategic resource. It's very important, according to what you have reported. From the beginning of the meeting until this part, the police also got a lot of information related to other forces. The Tay Sun base controls the military. Yangtze Power Control Base, Tidewu Sea Transportation Control Base, and Steel Plant Control Coating Bar Base. But they don't have an army. Only the armed forces. So, in terms of combat prowess, they have a certain distance from the Tay Sun base. Uncle View and the word Fat listened attentively to Zhang Yi. From Fat breathed a sigh of relief, hands clapping his chest with peace of mind. Old man, after hearing you say, I was relieved. No matter how strong, 3 other bases cannot be stronger than the Tay Sun base. We can beat the Tay Sun base. What are they afraid of? Zhang Ji continued to analyze. Although they may also have some armed forces. But compared to professionally trained soldiers, the quality will definitely be worse. It's not just the ink that feels light, that young people translate. They also feel a lot less pressure. He raised his hand and said, the biggest mystery right now is that people with special abilities, due to lack of information, maybe we won't know how many of these people have abilities and how strong their power is before direct combat. Even though there's been careful planning and preparation, but they still want to live in peace. If conflict can be avoided, stay as far away as possible. He fell down on the sofa and said, if you really have to fight, we're not afraid of them either. She has also been paying close attention since then. I didn't even mention the 4th force. You're curious to ask. You don't have to say there are all 4 major SAO forces. There are other forces besides these 3 bases. From the old wood, let you ask Han, is the last force the strongest? Maybe. You've hidden a large force that hasn't said Ra, SAO. He lowered his head in silence for a moment, and then answered, it's not because this force is stronger. It's just because it's more special. On the screen right now, an image of a person appears, covered in a towel, according to the customs of a religion. Get straight to the point. The 4th force is the snow. A religious organization born after the end of the world. Formerly, it was theology, a small religion in Tianhai City. The cardinal's name is Not, who broke through his powers after the end of the world. Preliminary power of God's grace is a blessing, or call it a blessing, that can help other people break through their abilities without paying any price. She was very surprised. Before this kind of power, she uttered, this world, there really is such a powerful ability. Private, you think? When you hear the name, it is not. I want to talk about snow after the end of the world. The church changed its name to the Snow Church. The priest is not a cardinal. He called himself the incarnation of the snow god on earth. He himself did not declare, this snowfall is the god of purification. Space, only a snowman can escape. Scope via the power of the snow is concentrated into areas. Xin Feng and Lam School. There's a lot of people with disabilities, but I don't know the specific number. When the Tay Sun base still exists, I've seen them as particularly annoying opponents. If we were talking about the Kier force, and that made Zhangjing a little bit easier. Now, the young man sat up when you hear about snow. As far as Zhang Yi knows, Tianfeng and Lam schools are the most populous places. Tianhai City. Missionary. It's going to help the sermon grow faster. Scale. The movement also makes sense. Even in the end, the growth of religion is the fastest. Everyone's looking for a spiritual lift. The doctor asked everyone, the current situation is like that. Do you have anything to say? They're all looking at the epidemic, but silent for a long time. Because after hearing about the 4 great powers, extremely stressful and complicated atmosphere, it makes it very difficult for everyone to have an opinion at this critical time. Old age classes SAO. Adults also have a lot of practical experience. The young man turned to. This is the oldest view, so tell me first. When asked by Trong Yi, the viewer thought carefully and replied, I think it doesn't matter how strong the city is. We need to be prepared to deal with the enemy. It's not wrong at all. not to be overlooked subjectively. This is how we can survive in this apocalyptic period. The king clenched his fist firmly. Urgent task at the moment is to build a defense line. The defense is strong enough. We will not be afraid of them. It's not passive when attacked. Surprise, the king said to Zhang Yi. We have so many weapons from the Tai Sun base. If it is not used, it is wasted. You have to know the layout at the critical moment. It's effective. Nod your head. Agree that we need to speed up the construction of defense lines. Because no one knows when these forces will come into conflict with us. Though Sao Zhang Yi once killed the people of the court base, there are also mutants. If the enemy finds out the truth, conflict is inevitable. From Fat sitting next to express worry. I don't think this situation is okay, either. From Fat is always pessimistic. His words are often negative. We've met two powerful groups outside the Tai Sun base. They discovered that the Tai Sun base had been destroyed. You will want to fight for this territory. Then the surrounding area here. It could become a battlefield. If we're affected, it's going to be a huge problem. He looked at him and asked, so do you have any suggestions? From Fat eyebrows that look like they're thinking deeply. But his fat, round face, it's a sense of humor. I think we should stay put. You shouldn't move around. Nod your head. The word fat may not be good on the other hand, but his ability to protect himself. Really excellent. Opinion of the old carpentry coincides with Zhang Yi's thinking. 6 Then Chen came in, but even if we're not looking for trouble, they'll come looking for us too. Move your head up. Then, we need to build a solid line of defense, and prepare carefully. We can't control it either. Actions of others. That's right, 6 of course. There seems to be something that you're not sure what to say. He laughed and said, feel free to say, go. We're discussing that your words can broaden our horizons. 6 likely encouraged by Trong Yi to open the words. I'm actually thinking. Should we take a trip out? To look for specific materials to repair the shelter. Materials taken from the Tai Sun base. It can only be used to build external defenses. Think for a moment and then respond. It is best not to go out now. But the 4 forces we're talking about are just existence. There's no direct conflict with us. On a large scale, they also dare not act. Unless confirmed, around the area, there is no danger. So these 2 days, we're going out for a quick trip. To get these materials back. Probably not a problem. 6 Revelation, smiling great inventory CA. When you see the salary as if you want to say something, tell me your thoughts. I see the salary is still hesitating. I see we're a little nervous right now. Don't just panic, it's losing its judgment. Let's take the Tai Sun Ra base as an example. They control the garrison in Tianhai City. Has the strongest force, but they still haven't quite grasped it. All areas in Tai Sun, and so must the other forces. They also hold each other back. I dare not suddenly expand. If not, my name. They will be at risk of attack. So it can be judged that we still have a long time. We can prepare for the future. From Wood, also Chen, so we'll get the line up early. In general, it is not wrong to function harmlessly. But Han insists the line can be built first. But there's no need to rush into a state of preparedness. We should take this opportunity. Collect 10 more supplies back a little. Mr. Trong Yi, it's not that you want to find repair materials. Avoid bullying, The young man nodded. That's right, in the words of probability. The outside wall of the shelter. We need to find a lot of building materials. This is actually taking some time. He turned to the direction of the salary. You also need to prepare some food. Prepare to fight. The woman's worried face replied, that's what you're worried about. If there is someone to attack, then they're not very dangerous in the countryside. I would advise you to pay. You can't protect them all your life. It's better to tell them the situation first. Let them hoard more food and hide. You don't have to worry. I also said that, in a short time, there will be no enemy nearby. Trong Yi heard Han tell her salary to whisper. If there really is an enemy, the village also suffered first. Looks like she's going to borrow a murder knife. She tried to ask Trong Yi, can they help us? To build defensive fortifications in exchange for protection. Directly ask the salary. Do those students know how to fish? If you can't catch fish in this cold weather, they could be in danger. Salary immediately seems to be confused cosmetic translation. These students can't even catch fish on the frozen river. How can they help? They just cause more trouble. Yang Han consoled the salary. Don't worry about the salary. What we're talking about is prediction. I'm not sure the enemy will show up. I don't know. It's not going to happen as we worry. Sighs if it's really like that. How good it is. After Yang Han finished speaking, he opened his mouth to ask for help. As if I didn't know what to say. But at the moment, the voice of Trong Dui helped the salary out of the dilemma. If you're worried, I'll help you find a way. He smiled at the salary. If one day there's a real danger that's happened recently, we will be temporary. Allow your students to hide near where we're hiding. The promise of Trong Yi make him view, and from fat surprise to open mouth. He also stared in surprise at Zhang Yi. Can't believe that these words came out of his mouth. In your impression, Zhang Yi is not such a benevolent person. Not just the salary but the fat. The big book and 6 revelation also look amazing. It's like the first time they've ever seen Jianjing. Only Yang Han is to look at Zhang Yi with calm eyes, the corner of her mouth with a smile, her eyes filled with admiration. I saw the surprised eyes of the young man. He laughed and said, why are you looking at me like that? You don't really think I'm a cold and indifferent person? Yeah, it's kind of awkward. Even without saying anything, her expression showed her inner thoughts. I really think so. Zhang Yi shook his head. Maybe that was the case before. Because we weren't partners at the time. But it's not the same now. You're my partner, and you're my family. The person you want to protect. I will also help you protect them. Her eyes widened with emotion. Her voice faltered. To translate me. I really don't know how to thank you. His face flushed red with intense emotion. Smile and shake your head. You don't have to say anything. Later we are united. You just need to be whole, because everyone's safety is enough. Cosmetic translation promotion. As long as you obey your call to slash the AI. You can cut that person. My head is firmly planted. I will definitely do it. From which the image swirled in conscience. Become different. She realized she had misunderstood the campaign all the time. She saw Zhang Yi as someone who was only for personal gain. It's arrogant and biased. The issue of wages has been resolved. But other problems, it depends on the leadership of Zhangji to draw conclusions. Stand up with 2 fingers. We need to address 2 pressing issues. The first, we've got to build a solid line of defense surrounding Van Ko Manor. Prepare for the arrival of the enemy. Second, I will leave to find the material needed for the repair treatment in our hiding place. Out. No one is allowed to act on their own or leave the hiding area to avoid encountering rival forces and cause unnecessary conflict. From the spring, yes, I will listen to you. The meeting is over. No one had any idea about Shang's arrangement. On a warm dining table filled with rich dishes. Delicious roasted chicken, hot and sour garlic braised fish, stewed legs with rich taste without stinging, and the fragrant goat meat soup that melts softly in the mouth. These wonderful dishes, they often appear on the dining table. I want everyone to come here and eat. I saw the food table full of delicious food. She couldn't believe her eyes. It's like dreaming. Not thinking about residence course. You can eat all these delicious foods in one day. Yang Han, when I look at your salary, I am grateful. Look, you're really hungry. Start the meal. You can't pay. They eat like they've never eaten before. When the fat woman saw that her salary was rushed, she also rolled her eyes. This meal makes you very happy. Long time ago. There's such an interesting feeling on the tip of my tongue. Liu jerking, hugging belly, pale face. You eat too much. Finally got to hold my belly tight. feeling stomach pain. I suddenly realized that I was clapping my forehead. Previously ate poor food. Now the stomach can't stand good food. They usually eat like that. I don't pay attention to the salary when eating. I quickly took my salary into the room. Tell her to lie down, then give her some stomach medicine. It's okay to rest for a while. Lie down with your eyes for a while. 30 minutes later, she woke up and breathed. In your heart, my faith in this hiding place is growing stronger. And her mood also changed dramatically, in just one short day. Actually, this feels really good. After lunch, Yang Honey, together with Zhu Kai Ni and Zhu Hai clean up together. I've seen the expression of 6 possibilities. It's a little weird. It seems like you're upset. Smiling and calling you back. There's probably something wrong. While eating rice, I realized that your eyes are not normal. I heard that 6, of course, waving the great CA hand, is nothing. You're okay, Trong Yi laughed softly. Put a finger on her forehead, she said. Are you pretending to be mysterious to me? Just say it straight. Remember, we are a family. We shouldn't hide anything from each other, understand? Being eaten by a duodenal floss. 6 new revelation realized. I really can't hide anything from Zhang. 6 suddenly turn your eyes. Surely there is no other AI there to rest assured. At SAO, you agreed to protect those students. They're not really good people. They're really bad. You and I lived with them for a while. Should understand very well. Zhang Yi couldn't help but smile to see the attitude of possibility. On the contrary, 6 looks sad. Because of his previous life with the Kier, it makes you seem obsessed. She told Zhang Yi, I also know what happened before. Like those guys aren't good people. After the end of the world comes, you and I have been through a lot of hard times. It is easy to carpet. That's why I don't like seeing them again. And see their ugly faces. Although 6 of course every day seems carefree, but she's still a strong and determined girl. She hated her old school friends, and I can't forget what happened. The lake is protected. The volume is now low. If you don't care about the students, I think the salary will stay. 6 suddenly thinking yes. According to her personality salary, maybe she'll choose to leave her hiding place. Then protect them or take them to another safe place. Just nod and laugh, that's right. Even though you don't care about your classmates. But pay is so important to us. We need to keep her. I understand. You're doing this to stabilize the situation. No, but you're going to feed them your whole life. She frowned, looking unhappy. What the hell do you deserve to take care of? They don't deserve it. Don't worry, it won't take long. The outside situation is so harsh. Sooner or later, they're going to freeze or starve. More. I have also prepared a small smile. He was thinking about killing people from the base. Dance and others. Lost a mutant. That's a big deal for any force. This also increases the speed of exposure between hiding and outside forces. To speak with salary through sweet words. If there's danger, he'll protect those students. But if there's a conflict, he had reason enough to explain. Though the manor and the town are far apart. Just a little trouble is enough. Let outside forces destroy them all. 6 light up your eyes. When I understood what Trong Yi meant, of course, it doesn't he always make me 7. You want to ask more, but Zhang Yi signaled for her to be quiet. There are things we don't need to say in the house. Tomorrow we're going out looking for material for a hideout. Then I'll tell you better. Even though the salary is resting in the room, but still need to be prepared. Don't talk about specific plans in the house. 6. Then I moved on to another topic. All right, CA. But where do we go to find the material? Of course, there was a calculation in the beginning of the campaign. The young man replied, there's a material factory not far away. We can go over there. Listen to this. 6. Hurry up and get up. So I'm going to organize a list of documents. Look at the shadow of possibility. Think to be prepared to deal with the firemen out there. When they move, destroy the useless white eyes Kier. Think of this, sighed Zhang. Even if they are people of other powers, not even my servant. It is not possible to listen to such words. We can only wait for fate. Afternoon after resting, the company began to carry out tasks. The main task now is to build a line of defense. Sure. The youth summoned everyone. Insist that everyone should be involved in this work. And no AI is allowed to be lazy. 6, of course, have completed the design drawings. Defense line, designed with the goal of protecting the hiding area and the surrounding villas, has a circular shape with a radius of 500 meters, 20 meters high, and 10 meters thick. Main material for construction is steel reinforcement and snow ice. Because these are easy to find materials, best for defense. The ice is self-healing, and in cold weather, it can get thicker. A layer of ice about 10 meters thick can withstand strong attacks. The campaign has assigned specific tasks to each person. 6 likely to shout. Materials shipped through here first. Main raw materials used in building room. The glands are large chunks of ice. They can be taken directly from the Jiang River. Next to the panting fat word, and tried to use his powers to create ice cubes. Rapid movement of ice blocks. To the Jiang Highway River, to the right location. The woman with the long sword in her hand, go to the basic sword. Very quickly, the ice has been processed into a cube. They are responsible for labor. Use steel reinforcement, giant stone and ice brick for building. 6. Then he looked at his drawing board and reminded. Note the connection between the ice, stone tiles and steel a bit. All right, everybody work together. Create an atmosphere of excitement. Even if the temperature drops as low as minus 60 degrees Celsius. Everyone wears anti-cold clothing. When they move their bodies, they feel warm. This is a real luxury in the end times. Only after a short time, the ice will come together. And the skeleton-like reinforcement will be arranged in 2. Form a solid ice and snow barrier, can't break. After just a few hours, they've built over 100 meters of fence, in its original form. And so they succeeded in the construction. First line of defense in the suburbs. Although, in terms of defense, it's much worse than other hiding areas. However, its existence is primarily for defensive purposes against sudden enemy attacks. Help people have time to hide. While Zhang Yi and his team are busy, he accidentally saw the river. There's a shadow passing by. He focused on looking and realized that it's a familiar silhouette. Is sneaking by. It seems to be a student of salary approval that Zhang Yi had met. He's not sure, but that face left a certain impression on him. But when Zhang Yi watched, he discovered a rather interesting sight. Sneaky Kier students don't go alone. There's a young woman following Theo behind him. From Fat worked hard for half a day. It's finally made a lot of ice. He sat on the ice and breathed, tired. Keep looking at Kier with the girl. 2 people go inside the house. The corners of the mouth slowly curled up, showing a smile full of delight and spectacular. These corrupt men. No matter the circumstances, it doesn't change his evil nature. From the Fat, Zhang Yi was looking intently and asked the old man what he is looking at. Put the binoculars down. To say, casually, nothing. Take a break. Trong Yi quickly walked to the old lady. Please stop your hand for a moment. Zhang Yi continued to speak. There's something I want. Sorry. Hear that? The judge became suspicious and looked at Zhang. Sorry about something. He looked at her honestly and said, I used to think your students were selfish. But just now, I see one of your students. I'm helping a poor girl. So I thought I'd give you an apology. The salary feels very strange. In the words of Zhang Yi, it seems to contain something. But you don't know what he meant. Smile a deep smile. Point your hand towards the magnetic resonance in the eastern village of Kier. Your students are helping the people. Instant browsing, change face color. Realize that your students may be doing something bad for old people and children in from trauma. As a teacher, you can't keep an eye on your students. To do things like that, I'll check it out. She tied her long hair to a ponytail and quickly ran towards the opposite river. In the snow house, Wu pulled a wooden plank to block the back door. This kind of snow, it's built half underground. and has good insulation. But the temperature inside is still too low. It's hard for his body to adapt. He looked at the woman in front of him, with pale skin and a pale face, sighing. He used to pick good girls of Tianhai City, but due to compelling circumstances, he also has to accept other choices. Take out half a box of rice from the chest and threw it on the bed. The girl looked at him without taking her eyes off him. When the woman seized the lunchbox, her eyes were bright. He put his hand on the lunchbox and said coldly, "Hurry up, I don't have time to wait." The woman took off her shirt and swallowed. His eyes did not leave the lunchbox. The corn fell down on the wooden bed. The woman slowly crawled to him. When the salary comes, corn into view. They are doing unacceptable things in the room outside the snow house. The noise made the salary blush and felt quite shocked. You can't believe the people inside. The room is my student. In this end of the world, women in trauma lose a pillar of their family. So it's become difficult to survive. The woman in the room doesn't have to do these things, for love of corn becomes dance. She's obviously being forced, or use your body in exchange for something. I felt so angry that I trembled. She thought to herself, let you live here. You guys do this kind of thing for people here. In a fit of anger, browsing a pedal-splashed wood plank, blocking at the door. The two of you were amazing in the room. Corn into view, he was in bed naked. Suddenly turned to look out. When he saw the salary, his face immediately turned pale. Why are you here? Watch the woman next door. Corn into dance. With a constant expression and half a lunchbox in bed. Immediately understand everything. Your mind is so empty. Anger and shock. You don't know what to think. Your students, the one you protected in the end, get food again. You're hard-earned to do things like this. I bite my teeth thinking, if you think you've been discovered, you'd better tell the truth. Maybe the salary. It is easy for this person to forgive him. My salary is a young man. They also have their needs. I hope you can understand me too. And I didn't force her to agree. Right? Say a word. He patted the woman's face. The woman looked dumbfounded, then silently nodded. Even if you were discovered in such circumstances, her eyes showed no shame. Now you just hope you can survive. You've forgotten all about the moral sense of duty. She holds the lunchbox on the bed. I looked at the corn. You don't have to say there's not enough food. Why do you need to do things like this? End words. The angry woman crushed the lunchbox in her hand. The color of the corn changed a little. Of course not. To let the browser know the origin of these dishes. After the paycheck leaves, order among the students becomes simpler. Strong people decide everything. Corn into dance with great bodybuilding advantages. We gathered some strong students to control the whole group. So he didn't just have enough food, but also redundant in exchange for the services of women from the trauma. Corn into cobras gnashing their teeth and yelling with their pawns. Why you are not? Just provide us with food. Why should I care so much? If you're just making us short of food, you have to find a way to survive yourself. So what do we do with this food? It has nothing to do with you, right or not? Browsing feels like being struck by lightning. Step back a few steps. She felt her chest pounding. He looked at the corn and couldn't say a word. He hugged the girl in his arms. Miss, can you come out first? You are here to bother me. They were harassed in the middle. Feel very uncomfortable. Close your eyes, turn your head and step outside. You run so fast. Let the cold wind and the snow blow in your face, but the cold won't get in. Then the pain in you. After the paycheck leaves, Trong Ying is on Highway Jiang with the word fat. Eat some miscellaneous stuff. When I see your lost soul face. Salary approval step back. Chung Yi smiled softly and sarcastically said, the reality is heavy. He raised his head and looked at Zhang Yi without protesting, just smiling in pain. Do you think I'm stupid? And she said to herself, yes, I'm really stupid. 2 hands in pocket. Casually say, don't blame me for making you see reality. I just want you to know the truth. But your next decision, I won't interfere. I respect your choice. Brows just shake your head. Your current mood is chaotic. The eyes have lost focus. Browsing step-by-step translated chapters and words fast. Body slightly trembling towards its hiding place. Now I just want to be quiet. From Fat curious close up. Ask him what happened to the salary. So what did she see? He looked at him calmly. It's her students. It's from trauma that I did that to a woman. In exchange for food. If it's not a threat, it's an exchange. From Fat eyes open to something muscle to shock. Old man, I didn't think of such a wonderful sight. Why don't I take a look? Before the curiosity of the word, the epidemic responded unintentionally. Important point in your story. What is it? Trong Yip patted him on the shoulder. Maybe the woman there. Is it your sister or your aunt? Browsing back to his hiding place. Lock yourself in the room. You're starting to feel that. What you've done so far doesn't seem to make much sense. Suddenly, there was a knock outside the door. Are you okay with browsing? Even though there's an epidemic of anxiety coming in from outside the door, keep trying to get your spirit back. Get up from the bed and open the door. When I opened the door, I saw her red eyes. Seemed to cry. I'm sorry for your trouble. I don't feel well today. Work I will not quit. You still think that? She came to urge you. Continue the work of building the line. As Zhang Yi shook his head, it doesn't have to be that quick. It will be done in 2 or 3 days. Zhang Yi looked around in a peaceful voice. I came here slowly because I was worried about you. The sudden softness of Zhang Yi, that's a little surprising. The cashier said, take a break, I'm fine. He looked into the laughter room. Are we talking here? The soul quickly gives way to invite in. Sit down. He walked into the room and pulled up a chair and said, I know what happened today has come as a shock to you. But I hope you can look ahead. Your future path is long. If you encounter anything difficult in the future, can share with me. At least I can be a good listener. In a woman's weakest emotional moment, it's the easiest thing to do. Zhang Yi, not someone who puts love first, but he doesn't mind. It makes women feel for themselves. The movement has no intention taking advantage of salary in a despicable way. I want to take advantage of this opportunity to shorten the distance between 2 people, make you listen to him more in the future. She asked Trong Yip, do you think I've been a fool for a long time? It can't be cured. He looked at her for a few seconds and then laughed. It really is. But his words diverged. I believe you have your reasons. He looked up at the ceiling. Her eyes gradually became dreamy. I've been practicing martial arts since I was 3 years old, even if it's a woman, but I'm not inferior to any man. In martial arts, as we are, soldiers often have to career paths, or switch to acting, cinema, or open a class to teach students. But I don't want to. It's just arose in the entertainment industry. There are no resources in that area. The opening of a teaching class, women's status has become a major obstacle. So then, we're going in a direction that few people choose in the military. That's security. I asked her, and she joined that organization to become the best insurance SAO. Referring to the past, he smiled. That's right, it was the most glorious time. At the same time, it was also the most difficult period of my life. After a few years, the School of Heaven invited me to be a professor of physical education, teach self-defense skills to the noble children of. They pay me a pretty high salary. Unfortunately, it's just the past. She was silent for a long time and finally spoke slowly. Then the apocalyptic disaster came, and we lose everything. Family, friends. My honor, my wealth. I have almost nothing. The only thing left for me, it's my responsibility to protect the students.